Hello. Today, we will provide answers to the question posed by our viewers on how to test and compare your approach with other approaches in practice and determine its effectiveness in real-world scenarios. Illustrate how it operates in real life. People desire as many examples as they can get. We analyzed Russian YouTube and hand-picked bloggers to assess the outcomes of the bloggers' approaches, their frameworks, and our own framework. Our framework, quantum psychology, and you can acquire further information about it from the videos displayed on our channel. Today we will gather it, we will compare the work of our framework and the approach of a highly renowned Russian YouTube blogger named Maxim Verdict. Let's take a brief look at what Maxim is talking about and whether Maxim's approach will coincide with our approach. Maxim has an extensive amount of experience. According to him, he has spent no less than a considerable amount of time. As far as we understand, Maxim gained experience specifically in the field of communication, so he has a valuable period of time that we will write on the board, which is the subject of his long and very deep research. This is a practical study. Now I will present the basis on the board as we understood his approach. If we make a mistake, correct us in the comments. Your point of view is very important to us. The primary assumptions that Maxim operates with are the first ones. A typical person seeks peace and tranquility in their life. Secondly, psychics always strive for a situation to be torn apart by the experiences they encounter. Another extremely important assumption is that a person in good health always has a demand to act in a just manner. I remind you that there are many different approaches in psychology, many different descriptive models. And which model do you prefer, in which you achieve better results and higher descriptiveness? It is specifically designed for you. Certainly, individuals examine various models, and subsequently they select for their own usage. No perfect model describes psychology, at least because today a person has not fully understood the work of the brain. Now I will list you the important features of Maxim Verdict's approach. Women with mental illness are most likely to attach themselves to others. Inconsistent females. Maxim categorizes females into suitable and unsuitable for relationships based on his criteria. And now we will demonstrate, sketch on the board, the individuals he deems appropriate, the individuals he deems inappropriate, and then we will observe how this aligns with our methodology, with our framework. So let's recall the hormones that are responsible for the sensation of attachment, love, and emotions in our bodies. First, of course, it is adrenaline. And Maxim immediately states that this is not true love, and it usually arises from devaluation in relationships with a narcissist. The next hormone is dopamine. He also promptly designates it as false love, and they are formed within relationships with a cheller, when emotions escalate and then subsequently decline in intensity. These are dopamine relationships. In these relationships, power over the couple will always be in the hands of the one who organizes this swing. The third hormone that Maxim mentions is oxytocin. Maxim calls oxytocin true love, and it is this hormone that works in long-term relationships and creates a sense of ease, lasting happiness, stability, confidence, all the positive emotions that one can imagine. It is precisely formed around this hormone, around this type of love. Let's observe what other classifications there are, what approaches are utilized, how he explains his framework, what Maxim advises. A crucial piece of advice that a blogger provides to us is that there is no dependency in true love. This is extremely significant. In that particular moment, dependence is not synonymous with love. Think right away. Can love be characterized as tragic, complicated, involving sacrifice? No. Everyone says, look, this is not love, it's various kinds of suffering. And he clearly distinguishes, as a rule, people who have suffered or are suffering come to him, and he explains well. This is one thing, and love is different. If a person who suffers thinks it is love, then he helps him understand it was not love, but simply suffering. The blogger categorizes women into two groups, fit women and women who are not physically fit. Let's identify the distinctive features in physically fit women and women who are unfit in terms of their fitness levels. So, females, appropriate and inappropriate. Women who are deemed unsuitable have a significant impact in conversation at 5. This topic is of interest to them. A suitable woman resonates with the topic of the future and the possibilities of what kind of future you can have with her. She is intrigued by the possibility of relationships. A virtuous woman has extremely limited boundaries when it comes to pleasure. Something more or less decent will meet her requirements. What cannot be stated about a woman who is not in good physical condition? A woman who is not physically fit requires this, then this, then this, and this, and she will always be deficient. Maxim classifies it under the pleasure framework. Narrow frames are deemed suitable, while vast frames of pleasure without boundaries are considered unsuitable and not conducive to the desired experience. Trash solely desires an unfit woman. In the wilderness, there is additionally a darker side, but it is controlled and remains undeveloped and unexplored. So, let's jot it down. The demand for trash is on the rise. We must ensure that the trash is effectively managed and kept under control. So, in the following statement, the blogger informs us that these particular characteristics are what will call forth emotions to the woman who is not the right fit. Let's write. Next, what will happen to an unfit woman? If emotions dominate at the beginning of a relationship and with unsuitable women, emotional dominance is the key in the relationship, then as soon as the emotions begin to fade, she will start making diametrically opposite decisions. And this may come as a big surprise to you. Let's write. With fading emotions, the logic of decision-making will change. Following that, Maxim asserts that a person who actively seeks emotions will invariably choose problematic and enigmatic ones without fail. If you follow, when selecting a man, that he has a requirement for emotions, he desires more emotionally, he will always come here, and there are no alternatives available here. The demand for emotions is satisfied by the fact that a man enters into a relationship with an unsuitable woman. What they wished for, they got. Endless amount of pleasures. Maxim gives a very simple advice. You must select a positive attitude towards yourself, not vibrant emotions that you are astonished by. So, let's take a brief glance at the characteristics of the blogger Maxim Verdict, shall we? Women are divided into suitable and unsuitable. The main difference with suitable ones is their interest in relationship perspective in communication, finding pleasure in these conversations, while unsuitable women react negatively to vulgar topics. And the discussion about the type of relationship she had, the number of people she wanted to be with, when, and other creative fantasies. A fit woman, they always have tight boundaries for pleasure. She won't need anything extraordinary. We went, took a rest, had an amazing time together, experienced something else, encountered something else. Nobody will ask you to jump with a parachute, and they will not have any such requests whatsoever. When communicating with unsuitable women, you'll enter a never-ending carousel of endless pleasures, and she will be more and more and more with them. Here, rushing ahead, remembering our model, it will fit very well here, because dopamine is always lacking. No dopamine enthusiast will ever settle for not actively increasing dopamine levels in their system. And you will be the source of dopamine, and here are these pleasures. And of course, an unsuitable woman will demand an endless supply of all sorts of trash, behind which there is nothing rational and sensible. You just won't understand what she is saying and why. While a decent woman also has some minimum level of trash, but she always keeps it under control. That is, it is restricted by her common sense. It is restricted by the extent of your positive feelings towards it. No one here will restrict anything. Let's consider two approaches. Create a table where we'll clearly understand what to do, how it works, and compare the results. Here we will have quantum psychology, and here we will have the approach of blogger Maxim Verdict. We are investing our own familiar table. Narcissus, border guards, empaths are being invested by us in this investment. Narcissus, border guards, empaths, male individuals, female individuals, men, women. So, let's take a closer look at the characteristics of a suitable woman. According to Maxim Franz, a suitable woman is characterized by having empathetic decision-making psychology. We refer to it as empathic accentuation, where we will add 2 units in order to make the video clear and understandable to the audience. Our model operates effectively with accentuation. A highly capable woman empathizes to the maximum extent possible. A woman who is considered suitable does not create a state of passionate love. A woman who is considered suitable does not provoke intense sensual experiences. A suitable woman does not generate bright states. Feelings for her gradually develop over a period of time. A respectable lady has no intention of provoking a man's sexual attraction. Does not focus on sex. So, we have described suitable women. Now let's give characteristics to problematic women. Now let's provide a description of women who are not suitable. We'll start with a woman who is fit, and here we'll discuss a woman who is considered unsuitable. She has a psychological trauma. Ideas are baseless. A lot of people inquire why someone made a request in a relationship that appears to be inadequate in terms of meeting their needs or expectations. These are the emotions that arise when an individual lacks the fundamental basis on which their beliefs and convictions are formed and shaped. Another very important difference of an unsuitable woman is an incorrect, distorted model of relationships from childhood. A dysfunctional woman has disorders in the functioning of her nervous system, which were inherited from her mother. Her primary area of expertise is centered around the study of consumption. This individual is a consumer. She is unable to give in relationships. In the head of an unfit woman, there are a huge number of negative scenarios that she materializes with your help. So, let us revisit the dissimilarity between a woman who is suitable and a woman who is unsuitable once again. A fit woman is empathetic. She does not create a bright infatuation. She does not provoke feelings. She does not create bright states. Feelings develop and grow gradually over time towards a suitable woman. She is not focused and does not emphasize on sex. What happens to an unfit woman? An dysfunctional woman experiences a psychological trauma during her childhood. She lacks a solid basis for her convictions. Her desires are not grounded in anything. Typically, she possesses an inaccurate model of relationships that she acquired during her childhood and then passes it on to you. Her mom typically experiences nervous system disorders. She follows the principle of her psyche and acts as a consumer. She is unable to give anything. It is extremely challenging for her, and she lacks knowledge on how to accomplish it. She manifests negative scenarios that exist in her mind. Now let's see how the blogger divides unfit women. Who are they? He has 3 types. And let's examine how this is relevant to our model. The initial category of unsuitable women is a woman leader. The second type of unsuitable women is a dopamine woman. The third type of unsuitable woman is a drama queen. We will now find out with you how a blogger describes a female leader. This is a marketing name that he utilizes for the sake of simplicity in communication. Let us cast uncertainty. A female leader is focused on dominance. In our plan, this is the closest comparison to the mythological figure Narcissus. They have a top position in the relationship. Men, do not worry. I would like to remind you that this is only possible if an individual does not utilize the limbic system. We fall into narcissistic accentuation. It is the woman leader who will emphasize her independence. The presence of independence poses a major obstacle for a female leader. Without independence, her feelings and emotions cease to exist. It is the woman leader who will tell you when it's time for you to marry her. And at this moment, it is the woman leader who has a wonderful plan on how to organize the wedding. You simply need to agree to it. It is the female leader who will drastically change her attitude towards you after the wedding, because you have accepted her rational request, and now she possesses all the advantages. And it is after the wedding, when you give her all the trump cards, she will start to maximize the utility from you, because everything she wanted, she got, and now her task is to consider that you will not go anywhere, so she can rely on you completely. In relation to a female leader, you will have a feeling that you are doing everything and she is doing nothing. This is a one-way game. The woman who is in a position of leadership plays until the end. She will almost always deceive. Let's observe who dopamine women are and what their nuances are. In relation to a dopamine woman, everything is perpetually bright. The most vibrant sex is with a dopamine woman. Sex will perpetually be passionate. A woman with a high level of dopamine always experiences everything very deeply. The dopamine woman is primarily focused on her own personal experiences and does not pay a significant amount of attention to their partner. Dopamine woman is not inclined to actively engage in self-reflection, and her behavior is consistently emotionally impulsive. She adores being in the center of attention. The woman who is driven by dopamine enjoys dressing in bright and creative ways. She always craves novelty, and her reconciliations are always filled with vibrant and lively energy. Reconciliation with a dopamine woman is like a fireworks display in honor of Victory Day. Now let's see what distinctive features the drama queen has. The primary source of fuel for the drama queen is your reciprocity, and she is prepared to actively pursue you and comply with your wishes until she obtains it. Drama queen will always give her utmost effort and do the maximum of what she is capable of at the very start of a relationship. Maximum potential, maximum emotions, fasten your seatbelts. It will be Dame Quinn who will give you gifts, and not only you, she will also give gifts to your mother. With Drama Quinn, you will feel a chill once you start to have a good relationship with her that will leave a lasting impression on you. It is with Drama Quinn that you initiate a profound and meaningful relationship as you embark on a journey of love and commitment with her. It is the drama queen who is ready to do everything to restore the maximum level of dopamine. And she begins doing all kinds of crazy things. Inquire about the past, drama queen, and you will always discover at least 2 cool guys she dumped and 1 rare scoundrel she still has respect for. So, women who do not drive, as mentioned by blogger Maxim Verdict in his blog post. Leader, leads in relationships, breaks the man, fights for their own independence, and strives to maintain individuality and autonomy. You will always be told that the moment has come for a wedding, and she has a precise plan for your entire life. It is not useless to argue. Any deviations from her plan will be strictly suppressed by her. You do everything, she does nothing, she plays on her own and plays until the end of the game. Dopamine lady. Everything is extremely vivid, bright contrasting experiences, intense sexual encounters, and powerful emotions. But focused on herself. And she cannot perceive your emotionality. Your emotionality is not always interesting to her. She does not participate in self-reflection, so her actions will frequently be unexpected to you. She is impulsive. She adores being in the center of attention. She loves to dress brightly, and she always demands novelty. And with her there will be the brightest reconciliations. Drama queen, this person is fighting for your reciprocity. And once the drama queen achieves reciprocity, her emotions drop down, and she is ready to do anything necessary to get them back again. At the beginning, the maximum of what she is capable of, she will give presents to you, she will give presents to your mother. But you must be prepared that your significance decreases as your relationship develops, and therefore, her interest in other people increases. It is drama queen that makes all the nonsense. You will always find a trail from past relationships where you will find cool guys who were dumped and forgotten, and a few scoundrels who are remembered and still respected. Let's observe how Maxim Verdict's model is related to our model. We will utilize a green marker for this purpose. And we'll move. Reminder, eligible woman. Here all is simple. Women are empathetic. Let us observe. Therefore, a woman who is suitable is accompanying you at this location. All of this represents a significant emphasis. Here we have an appropriate woman. We discussed those with you. There are some characteristics. You can refer to our descriptive model to determine the extent to which a woman is comfortable with a calf relationship. At this point, Maxim is completely certain that she is the ideal resolution for all 3 accentuations, emphasizing that an empathetic woman is the perfect solution for each of them. But we know that for a narcissistic man, the same ideal solution will be an empathetic woman. Here we have accomplished a 100% fit to our descriptive model. Now let's compare the inappropriate women from Maxim Verdict with the accents of quantum psychology. The woman named Viger, who is unsuitable for us, corresponds to our accentuation of narcissism in a significant way. We recall that 2 narcissistic accentuations will have highly demanding and complicated relationships, but a female leader has the ability to initiate a relationship with a borderline accentuation in a man and an empathic accentuation in a man, which can lead to unique dynamics and challenges within the relationship. According to our model, a woman with dopamine will be in a relationship characterized by borderline accentuation and a bias towards narcissism. We will then divide the accentuation, the border accentuation, into 2 parts in collaboration with you. One will be closer to narcissism, the other will be closer to empathy. So we have a dopamine woman here. The drama queen corresponds to a woman who is closely associated with and displays a high degree of empathic accentuation in our model. Therefore, we have relocated an unsuitable woman to 2 accentuations in your presence alongside you. And an empathetic woman is suitable for emphasizing. It was highly inspiring when we witnessed that Maxim Verdict's expertise guided him precisely to the identical juncture that we arrived at via theoretical investigation. He possesses an extensive practical experience. And I think that today we can say about one of the questions about the validation of our quantum model of psychology that, look, the huge practical experience of blogger Maxim Verdict proves exactly the same story, exactly the same graph. He wrote the identical categories, constructing the exact same matrix. Here is a crucial and significant addition. In the Soulmatcher application, you have the option to indicate whether a person possesses borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, or empathy. Once an individual sets, for instance, the boundary level at 8, empathy level at 5, and narcissism level at 7, we can determine that he or she is inclined towards narcissism. If he reverses it, empathy will be 7 and narcissism will be 4, then we can conclude that this person has a tendency towards empathy based on the scores. Now you have knowledge of how to correlate 2 models. You can use any model and the end result will be the same. By the way, if you are interested in learning more about how the quantum approach works, you can definitely check out Maxim Verdict's videos. The texts are written from a man's perspective because he handles mail requests and possesses an extensive amount of advice for various types of psychology. Now let's transfer the name of quantum psychology to the model of Maxim Verdict in order to establish a complete correlation. This is a narcotic accentuation. The dopamine of the woman is unsuitable. This is a borderline accentuation in the context of narcissism and its manifestations. And an unsuitable woman drama queen. This is a borderline accentuation in empathy. Thank you very much. The correlation of the models has been established.